Aloha, everyone. Happy Aloha Friday. I am your host, Dylan Chase Lee, as always. And don't mind the background. This is all on purpose. I'm not locked away in someone's back storage room. This is actually my back storage room that I locked myself in. I digress. Let's bring out our main man, as always, as is tradition. Although last week we didn't do it because it was a very special day for this man. Kip Woolborn. Kip.
Hey. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good. But speaking of last week was a very special day for you. And let's just see what you did last week. I don't want to go into like a horror movie setting about what you did last week, but
no, it was my birthday. Okay, there you go. There it is. So my wife and the girls, they really went all out. So we had a great night. And I'm wearing the shirt my mom got me. So there you go.
Oh, good. That's good.
So Mom, thank you if you're out there watching.
Those lobsters look very delicious, though.
They were. Yeah. Afterwards I thought, we should have invited Dylan. But that was afterwards.
Wow, thank you. After all the lobster was gone. I feel TFTI. Thank you for the invite.
All right. Hey, well, listen, here, what's been going on around the theater? What's been going on with you? Anything?
Just making sure that everything is ready for next season.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to make sure that everything is in line, making sure that Chicken Man, John Joe Chicken Man isn't leaving
all right.
Chicken parts all over the theater. We have a man who likes to feed the cats, but there's just chicken bones.
But he feeds them fried chicken.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let me see. We've been, planning for next year. In fact, I've been this week. I've been working on the budget for next year, and it's so hard because it's so unsure. We just don't know for sure what's going to be going on, how much we're going to be able to produce, how much distancing we're going to have to practice. So you just kind of, make a guess as best you can. Look at the crystal ball. It doesn't work. But that brings me to something that's really serious. We had 201 new cases today. What's going on, folks? Come on. There's a theater in Utah that has now been open for a month, and they have had 25,000 guests in the theater. And so far, there hasn't been a single case traced back to the theater. So they were producing two different shows. And one show, they did have a cast member that got COVID-19. And so they closed that show for 2 weeks and isolated everyone, and nobody else came out positive. It was traced back to his family in a gathering. So, it kind of proves to us, or it's evidence that if we'll distance, if we'll wear the face coverings, it helps. It's not going to stop it, but at least it'll mitigate it and make it a little bit better. Because if we don't get this under control, if we don't flatten this curve, we're not going to be opening it again. So come on, folks, be on it. So, all right. Yeah, I was grumping enough about that. But, so we had 900 visitors today, and that number keeps going up. But I'm not hearing anything about tracing back to our visitors. It's like we're doing this to ourselves. So we do want those visitor counts to go up, and we want all of us to do better. So, okay, I'll get off my soapbox there. That's just been, we've stepped back as far as the restrictions go. And so I just don't want to see it go further.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, they closed down the beaches again, the bars, the arcades, the bowling alleys.
All the parks, all the hiking trails. So, let's get ahead of this thing. But enough of that. We've got a great show for you today, and I think it's really timely. I'll let Dylan introduce our guests today, but I'm really excited about it and excited about what's going on in their lives. So, Dylan, without further ado, it's all yours.
All right. We'll talk to you later, Kip.
All right.
So, as Kip had mentioned, we have a wonderful show today because for the first time ever, we'll be interviewing 3 people at the same time. I know, it's impressive, right? The wonders of technology. Anyways, so the Hawaii Shakespeare Festival 2020 season opened with As You Like It, directed by R. Kevin Garcia Doyle. And the season continues with Love's Labor's Lost, directed by Kat Altman, which opens today. So if you didn't pick up your tickets today, pick them up now. The upcoming play, The Merry Wives of Windsor, directed by Tony Pisculli, will open on August 14th. And we're happy and lucky enough to have all three directors on today's show. So please help me welcome R. Kevin Garcia Doyle, Kat Altman, and Tony Pisculli. How are you folks doing?
Good. Thanks for having us, Dylan.
No problem. That was a very somber, so I'll switch back. Somber. I was going, Okay. All right. I like that energy of Kevin. All right.
I think we're all used to group rehearsals where I've got 20 people in rehearsal every night. And if we all try to talk at once, it's chaos. So there's a lot of silent thumbs up. Yeah.
So that's how you folks have been getting kind of like a, with, celebrating, just give a nice thumbs up. It reminds me of that episode of Futurama. You guys ever watch Futurama where they're like learning about how to save the Earth by just giving a nice thumbs up so they don't crush like microbes with their antennas? Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, the interesting part about this year's Shakespeare Festival is that it's entirely virtual. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So when you folks were planning 2020 season, were you folks initially going to say, let's do it entirely virtual, or maybe one show do it virtual and then the other is going to be in person? Well, what was the process for that?
The initial plan was to do all three live. Because we've been planning this. We usually pick the season about a year in advance, and we've been talking about doing the shows and seriously planning them since early in this year and late in last year. So we had plans for how we were going to be approaching the shows before COVID-19 was even a glimmer in our eyes. So, yeah. And then for a while, Kat and Tony, we were still hoping to do at least one or two of them live in some way, yeah?
I don't think we committed to all virtual. Oh, sorry, Kat. We didn't commit to all virtual until the audition process was done. But go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it was, like May, right when we were, April, May, when we were doing auditions. And at that time, we thought maybe things, by the time August rolled around, maybe, it would be safe for people to be in close proximity. But, not so much.
C'est la vie.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I know I was warned about asking this question yesterday because, as you mentioned, it could take almost the entirety of the show. But if there's any way to kind of like abridge an answer, do you folks mind if I ask this question?
Bring it on.
All right. So what is the process like for you folks as directors to direct a play virtually? Whoever wants to start first, we can just kind of popcorn it out. Not all at once.
Or Kevin, go.
Sure. I guess I felt very strongly that we should continue with the season, even in these current circumstances. So I'm really glad that as a collective, we made the choice to continue on with the show anyways. I think it's really important during these times that we recognize that we can still create art. Artists have been faced with challenges like these for millennium, and the thing we do is we reflect the world the way that it is right now. And what we're in right now, this is the way the world is right now. So I think that was something that was really on all of our minds when we approached it. And I think what the cool thing is that we have very different approaches to how were using the online world. I mean, I saw a preview of Love's Labor's Lost last night, and Kat's heard me gushing about this for 24 hours now, but it blew me away. You know, my approach initially had been to imagine that we'd staged it for the stage and that we had suddenly been forced to be put into the theater. So I approached it very much like a play that just happened to be in frames. Love's Labor's Lost is native to Zoom, and it works so well. It allows this. I'm sorry, that's not really your question. I just all I want to do is talk about how much I love Love Labor's Lost, though. But basically, though, I guess the one thing to me that kind of summarizes this, and I'm rambling here, is that 5 weeks into rehearsing, I realized I didn't know how to block an entrance, and so I realized after about 5 weeks of rehearsal what I should have been doing in the very first week of rehearsal. So it was like being part of a directing 101 class all over again, because directing for Zoom is something that's new to almost everybody, and it's really exciting that everyone in the world, and it was really exciting that Tony and Kat were doing this at the same time, because they're able to say, well, this is working for me, this is what I'm doing, this is what's not working. And we came up with different, it's so cool how different the solutions are. And I'm dying to see Merry Wives now, just to see how Tony's tackling it differently. Anyhow, I'm going to stop, because otherwise I'm going to say all the reasons you should see Love's Labor's Lost. It's amazing. Get your ticket. Watch Love's Labor's Lost.
And see Dylan in Love's Labor's Lost.
No,
Great.
That's right. Yeah, you've been very shy about that, Dylan.
Because the show is not about me today. It's about you folks and your process with all the shows. So,
Kat, you want to talk about your process?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, goodness, where to start? I mean, kind of like what R was talking about, being like directing 101. I mean, every single part of the process is different for everyone. So it's, you know, and as the person who's collaborating with the designers and the technicians and the amazing cast members like Dylan, everybody has to retrain their brains. The actors have to learn that the screen lies to them. And so they really have no idea what the audience sees compared to what they're seeing. And they have to put a lot of extra trust in us to be their eyes, even compared to usual. Just communicating, just every single thing about the rehearsal process is completely different. But I think things for us that I found that were really helpful and important were just trying to create that culture of the rehearsal room that we all miss. So the rehearsals that I knew things were going well was when everyone still had their cameras on and was chatting like before rehearsal and during breaks. I was like, yes, this is, you know, this is what this is. This is why we do this. And so as much as possible, one of our goals is to try to make our audiences understand that even though we're not in the same space, we can't, the audience, we will be able to hear you if you would like at certain points in our show, but we can't really hear and see each other in the same ways, but you're still so important to us, and that we couldn't have a show without our audience. So as a director, that's been another big challenge, is trying to like get the audience to know that they matter, to get them to buy in and invest with us, because we still need them just as much. It's just the whole system of feedback is different. So, and it's important to note too that Zoom is not built for theater at all. So we have to go back at every turn. It's like, oh, we can't do this, so we have to figure out this workaround. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot of fun though. Like R said, just try to reinvent the wheel and play around and see how we can still make art. Because I think we all need it more than ever right now.
Yeah.
Tony?
I want to echo something that R said, which is that it's amazing. We all went into this thinking, okay, how do we put Shakespeare on Zoom or online? And we came up with three radically different approaches. I think if you watch three plays side by side, you'd be stunned that they came from the same company even. I'm using a layer called OBS on top of Zoom because I really wanted a little bit more control over my layout. I'm kind of blown away by the layout effects that Kat got with Love's Labors. Yeah, I was really impressed by that. And it's like, man, maybe if I worked harder with Zoom, I could have figured some of this out. Because there are a lot of advantages to not going with OBS. That has been a very steep learning curve and a brutal time sink. And I think it's going to pay off. I think it looks pretty slick, and it allows a sort of spatial orientation to the play that is not something you typically see in a Zoom theater production. And so, yeah, hopefully that pays off. But it's been exhausting, and I really admire. Also, Kat said the idea about creating that sense of community within the company and keeping that. That's something that we kind of sacrificed early on. It's like I love to have long rehearsal processes and a boot camp and warm ups, and I'm just like, guys, this is going to be an exhausting process, and we're going to keep these rehearsals to 2 hours. 2 hours, and that's not enough time. But we just like blaze through it and get everybody out of there. I've got actors in Connecticut, Florida, and California. At the other, Kevin and Kat do also work. Actors are scattered all over the country. And so I just really want to be respectful of their time. So we don't spend as much time doing that sort of company building stuff that I love and miss so much. Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have found this too, but I just think it's harder for me and for the actors to just rehearse for as long. I feel like just being on camera, being on stage is just more exhausting. It hurts your eyes, it hurts your brain, it hurts your body. Right?
Yeah, there's studies about that. In fact, that that too long a time in Zoom, and that's, I think we all made the choice to have shorter than normal rehearsals. Yeah. Mine didn't go till 3 hours until we were running the whole show. But yeah, we were also 2 hours consistently, and sometimes less than 5 days a week. So that also put a lot on the actors. And I think that's one thing that I think we'll also acknowledge is that an actor in a Zoom environment becomes everything. They're their own designer. They're not literally designer. They're their own builder. Sometimes they're their own designer. They have to light themselves. They have to be their own cinematographer. They have to, figure out how their tech works. Every rehearsal is a tech rehearsal. And some actors hate that. And with good reason, because it means that you're thinking about, hi Kitty, and cats are involved in everything. But some people end up getting so focused on what do I have to press to make this work that that it's hard for them to turn their actor brain back on. And Dylan, I'm sure that you do some really impressive tech stuff where you're switching your camera back and forth, and it seems like you're using multiple devices and that's stuff that part of the rehearsal process is getting your brain to think, okay, when I first started acting, I had to learn how to do an entrance. I had to learn stage left and stage right. And it's till I could think about that, or till I could do that without thinking, it was hard for me to act. And so sorry, world, that you're getting to see my cat's butt here. She's lewd. All right. Anyhow, but that's the actors. I mean, major shout out to the actors in all of these shows because wow, the weight they were lifting is huge.
Yeah, and you folks kind of touched upon my next question that I was going to ask, is being what was the most difficult thing in terms of trying to direct on Zoom, and you kind of covered all the bases. Like Kat meeting you slid right off the bat. Zoom and theater do not mix, and I kind of have to reteach myself what is stage left, stage right, because as many of us might have found out, like different people have theirs mirrored, but they've been doing it for so long that if you take them out of mirror, then all their block is going to be all over the place. But yeah, but it looks like you folks have been just keep conquering on in terms of trying to make Zoom work out. And Tony, I'm actually interested with your OPS or OBS?
OBS, Open Broadcast Studio. It's something like StreamYard that allows you to take a stream. StreamYard takes multiple streams and throws them up on into one stream. But OBS allows me to take a single stream, a Zoom call where all my actors call in on the same Zoom call, and I can crop them out and place them individually. So I can scale them, rotate them, transform them. I flip them left to right, so we're really clear on which way is left and which is right, which is nice. It solved that dilemma for us. Unfortunately, so OBS has been great, steep learning curve, like I said. Unfortunately, if I did this again, or my recommendation to anyone else who's out there thinking about this, Kevin and Kat made the brilliant choice to have very small casts, and that, I think, paid huge dividends. I've got a cast of 18. And I love to work with large casts, but working with a large cast in real life is exhilarating, and online it is exhausting for everyone. You're waiting for your entrance. You're trying to talk over each other. You're just, the resolution is compressed because you have 18 people on screen instead of 7 or 8. So yeah, but it's fun. It's fun.
That's good. And we actually have a question from Braddock from backstage. He's asking, so are the actors actually off book, or
Oh yeah.
are they actually reading their lines while on Zoom?
Oh yeah. No, absolutely off book.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. You know, we discovered early on, and I'm sure I don't want to speak for Kat and Tony, but in our production, we discovered early on that if somebody was reading, you could see it, and even if it was on their computer, you could see that their eyes were, even if they were really committed, their eyes were still telling you they were reading. So yeah, they have to know the lines to commit to doing it, just like in a regular production. So yeah, they were, and again, not to keep gushing about Love's Labor's Lost, but wow, were they solid. You too, Dylan. But wow, they're solid. They're so, and their cues, holy cow, the way they pick up their cues is so good, so good.
That's a thing that's really hard to do, Dylan. You know how hard that is to pick up cues when you're dealing with Zoom and with internet lag, and yeah.
There's about like a 2-second sound delay on Zoom, so the actors really have to feel like they're overlapping the last person's line to feel like it's close for the audience's ears. So we definitely we drilled that with like every scene.
It paid off. It was really good. The banter was bam, 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 bam. You know, it was great.
These actors are working hard. They're doing such good work. Again, it's like all of their instincts and their training. This is all so different for them. But they're adapting really well. Yeah.
All right, so this is a question for our Kevin and Tony, because you folks were 2 of the 3 founders of Hawaii Shakespeare Festival. If you can shortly just kind of go into, like, you know, what gave you folks the idea to come up with this festival, and did you anticipate it, you know, going on for about 19 seasons now, correct? Yeah. Did you anticipate it going on for this long, or do you want it longer?
You know, the first year we did the Shakespeare Festival, it wasn't even called the Hawaii Shakespeare Festival. It was called the Summer Shakespeare Festival, and it was conceived as a one-off. It's like, hey, let's do this one summer. Let's put on 3 plays in one summer, and we'll call it a festival. Hey, and then we said, oh, that was good. Let's do that again. Then we changed the name to Hawaii Shakespeare Festival. But I've got some theories on the secret origins of the Hawaii Shakespeare Festival, but I think our Kevin is the one who's closest to the actual beginning.
You know, we had at the university, there were a group of us in the 90s in grad school. Shirley Kagan, Matt Dubroff, Tony and I, Harry Wong, who of course was the other founder of the Shakespeare Festival. We were all students of Terry Knapp, and we were all looking for directing opportunities. So I think Shirley was the first one who directed outside of Kennedy Theater. She directed on the lawn. Did Much Ado, yeah? I'm looking at you, Tony, as if you can see that I'm looking at you.
Much Ado,
but she did
Midsummer.
Much Ado in Midsummer, yeah. And then I did Macbeth and Comedy of Errors in the theater, because I'm not as ambitious as Shirley is, and they you know, and so almost many of the people that were initially involved in the Shakespeare Festival were people who were connected to those productions. Tony and Harry and I all worked on that Macbeth production together. Tony and I worked on the Comedy of Errors production together. And so it kind of grew out of the university. And, you know, this is why we, you know, the festival is dedicated in perpetuity to Terrence Knapp, because he was our mentor. He was the one who really encouraged us to pursue Shakespeare. His passion for it got us excited about it. And, you know, so, but while he was alive, he would come to see the shows, and at the end of the show, he'd leap onto the stage and give a little speech at the end of each show. Oh, this thing you just watched is better than Olivier's in 1954. And, and we knew he was kind of BSing us, but it was really nice of him to do that anyways. We were always grateful to hear kind words from Terry. He was a great guy.
So may he rest in peace. I understand that there's a lot of love in the comments right now for Terrence Knapp. So his legacy lives on through you folks, and, you know, hopefully the Shakespeare Festival can keep going for more and more years to come. Yes.
I think the Shakespeare Festival recently transitioned to a nonprofit. We were operating as a for-profit for 18 and a half years.
Mhm.
And so now it's really well positioned to continue for the long term. So yeah.
Nice. And then, are there any ways for people who are watching the stream right now? Any ways for them to donate to the Shakes Fest?
There's a link, and I want to say it's PayPal me/Hawaii Shakes. It's on our website, hawaiishakes.org. You can find it.
Yeah, carefully, they're going to end up donating it to a completely different organization.
Yeah.
Well, let me see if I can bring that up right now. There you go. So this is your folks' website, and
Yeah, we're really shy about asking for donations. I think it's on the contact page, maybe.
contact.
Is it?
It's
No.
new for us.
Not.
Yeah, it's new for us to ask for donations. But you can contact us using that information there.
Well, if you, I think,
It's in the program.
yes, the Hawaii Shakespeare Festival Facebook page, I actually just put it up in the comments. So there it is. If folks
That's
want
Nicole.
to
Hi,
donate
Nicole.
to the Hawaii Shakespeare Festival, please go to that paypal.me/Hawaii Shakes. And if you're thinking about donating to Hawaii Shakes, consider donating also to Manoa Valley Theater. Our number is down below, 808-988-6131, or go to manoavalleytheater.com. Yes, and before we go, I just want to ask Kat one more question so that we can gush over her more. Kat, you went to the 2019 Kennedy Center for, KCTF. I forgot the acronym already. It's so long. But you went there, you won the directing competition within your local region, and then you went to nationals, and you won at the national level. Just kind of go into detail about your directing style, your process, and how that experience kind of added more to your directing toolbox.
Goodness, I wasn't prepared for that question, Dylan.
Gotcha.
So, yes, it was a really fortunate opportunity that I had as a student at UH to go. So it's the Kennedy Center American Collegiate Theater Festival, I think. Yes, this is very wordy. And so it was really great to be in a room with a bunch of young directors and to hear from some mentors just about, I don't know, everything from career building to visual storytelling. And I mean, to learn more about devising work, which is a really big part of my process, and especially because I was able to go to a special laboratory working on new plays last summer through my award at nationals, and I was able to be in on the ground floor of new play work and to see how new play development happens, and kind of just revamp my whole idea about world building and table work and just the way that I enter a show from my experiences. So it was a really life-changing experience for me, actually. And I want to go do more new work on new plays. So I think that Zoom theater is actually a really great avenue as well to potentially bring that forward.
So
I think that's one thing that people are going to see if they watch Love's Labor's Lost. One of the most remarkable things about it is the world building. The world building, and I felt the same way about your production of The Moors, is you really have a gift for establishing a whole consistent world, both in terms of design, but also in terms of style. So I think everyone who sees Love's Labor's Lost, and you should see Love's Labor's Lost, that's one of the first things you'll notice, is it's a fully realized world. It's really terrific.
Thank you, Lars. And check out Dylan. He's great.
Well, since we're on the process of plugging, each other's shows, what do you say that we kind of wrap up the show? We can bring back Kip, and also we can, go back to the website and we can plug a whole bunch more. Sound good?
Sounds good. And go
Thanks, Dylan.
Bring back Kip.
Hey, Kip. Tonight.
I've never seen a bunch of directors or actors who are short on words. That was really interesting. Yeah, I can tell you guys been working on Zoom. Thank you so much for being with us. You guys are truly amazingly talented people, and we're so fortunate to have you in our community. And everybody, go online and get your tickets for Love's Labor Lost. Tonight, you can see it. I'm going to see it tonight, and can't wait. And I do understand Dylan's quite wonderful in it, by the way. All right. So, and give to your arts organizations. It's a long, bumpy road from here until we're back, producing. I know you hear this from me every week, but give to us at ManoaValleyTheater.com or 808-988-6131, and give to the Shakespeare Festival, and give to the symphony, and give to the opera. Art is so important. And if we, like so many small businesses, it's a tough time, and we don't want anybody to go away. So thank you for joining us today. And Dylan, why don't you wrap it up?
Yeah, we'll do. So nothing else to reiterate. Our main man himself already kind of did everything on that end. We did get a private message from Braddock. So the AC. So by the time you folks come back in, AC hopefully will be installed on the
August 17th. August 17th it begins.
Nice.
So you don't have to bring in your personal fans. We got a nice one for you. Okay? All right. Well, that's it. All right. We'll see you folks later.
Thanks, Dylan. Thanks, Kip.